Hey, you're listening to the Lilac City Smash podcast. I've got another curveball for you guys, if you couldn't tell from the thumbnail. Today, I'm mostly going to be flying solo, going to cover my experience with Daddy's Den 10, and also just if anyone out there is on the fence about going to a larger tournament, I'm hoping that after the end of listening to this, you will be more confident in going and want to go yourself. Because when I got to the venue for Daddy's Den 10, I actually felt a little intimidated simply because, shoot, aside from like my small group of people who show up to my tournament up north, I don't really know anybody. And it's a bit intimidating to go in there and understand the level of competition it is. I mean, you can't go in there with a results oriented mindset. I mean, you're most likely going to meet someone who has equal or more experience than you in the game. And yeah, you're going to lose. But the point to go to the tournaments isn't entirely to do well in bracket. I think you lose a lot of value in doing that. There's so much more to it. But initially going in there, my initial thoughts were, oh crap, I just go O2, play some friendlies with people I already know I can play friendlies with at any point in time. Ignoring those thoughts, I decided to push through and, let myself get in there. I mean, don't get me wrong, we're here to play games, but there was so much more to experience than, just your simple Wi-Fi match you think you could just have at home. And I'm going to share some of that with you. A large part of the value that I got out of DDXS was, the vendors. If you haven't seen the video on the DDXS vendors, I recommend go checking that out. There's some really cool stuff. But so I walk in the venue, pay my bracket fee, and I do what everyone else might do. Just go and look for somebody, get some friendlies in, get warmed up. But out of the corner of my eye, I saw Amsa. And I'm thinking in the back of my mind, okay, this guy is a sponsored player. He's the best melee Yoshi in the whole world, right? There's obviously going to be a line of people trying to play friendly with him. And to my surprise, there wasn't. It kind of blew my mind. So maybe, I don't know, maybe Amsa's old news, but for me, it's new news to meet someone like that. So I, I waited maybe 5 minutes. Like this guy in front of me got 2 games with him. And I played a few games with Amsa, or rather, Amsa played games with me because I couldn't get the Hage. I took out the Samus. I wave dash once, and I did the tether recovery, and he guarded that superbly. I have a snowball's chance in hell of doing more than 100 damage to the guy, but he was a really good sport about it. He was entertaining me, and I really appreciate that. I even busted out the Roy just because that's who I played back then. As you can tell, I'm still the melee casual. But honestly, I just had a really good time. It's really nice to know that even like most competitive players, or at least someone that high up, can still smile, laugh at the game. So that was nice. I ended up meeting up with a few of my friends and ended up playing some games, got some pizza, all the good things. One of the vendors, specifically Onion Knight, let me hang around and watch him do his work. And that was really insightful because I've always been real curious about soldering and, repairing vintage. God, it hurts to say vintage, but, vintage electronics, vintage games. These games are still new to me. I'm sorry. Pokemon Emerald is still very new to me. The Game Boy Advance is new to me. So that's the perspective I'm coming from. So seeing him being able to revive old hardware is incredible to me. And it's something I initially want to get into, but that's another time investment. And I know a lot of my friends are wanting me to put a little more time into Smash so that they see some sort of potential in my Piranha Plants or my Beyblades. So I'm going to try and give them a little bit of what they weren't. No, to seeing him do work and open my controller, just know where everything was already. It was crazy. I almost envy his skills, but at the same time, if I had that level of proficiency, the most I would do with it is just change out the watch batteries in my old Pokemon games and maybe some Super Nintendo cartridges, and that would be it. I mean, the juice almost isn't worth the squeeze at that point. Let's see. There's a distinct difference in watching a tournament on stream versus being there in person, don't get me wrong. The energy is very much the same. The commentators put up the same energy that you feel through the stream that you would in person, but feeling it in person is so much different than getting it digital through your screen because you already get everything through your screen. So from that perspective, it's exciting because all of a sudden you're no longer just part of Twitch chat. You can actually just like, I mean, if you're funny enough, maybe pop off with some shit and get people to laugh instead of getting, poggers or others, whatever the kids post in Twitch chat nowadays. It's a real experience. And not to bash Twitch or anything, but there's no way you replace a in-person experience like that. And speaking of in person, I actually got to meet and play a few games with Arbiter. You should probably know who Arbiter is right now. He brings such good energy into Smash, and I let him know that. I let him know the world needs more commentators like that. And his response confused me at first. He's like, "No, I'm just annoying. Like, you're really nice, but I'm just annoying." And that just sort of throws me off because what he does is so valuable to the people who can't show up, or as far as presenting the game goes. It brings a different kind of energy. Like right now, there's a distinct difference. Like go ahead and play like a really hyped up set. Like go watch one of the Summit games on mute, right? You're gonna see some crazy plays, yeah, and you're gonna be able to focus more on the players. And then turn on the volume. The commentators bring so much to a game like that. It's unreal because they're the focal points for people who can't be there at the tournament. And I imagine it's almost unnerving for the guys because they go into a tournament, they know nobody, but everybody knows them. I can't imagine being in that spot, nor would I want to initially. But no, I got a few games with Arbiter, and I learned a few mind games, which is funny because one of my previous podcasts, I was talking to Anson about taunting and mind games and whatnot. I think there's actually a more effective way to get into your opponent's head. Not everyone can do it, but if your opponent doesn't have headphones in or anything, and if you can manage it, try commentating your own match. I had such a hard time focusing against Arbiter because he wasn't doing it intentionally. He's having fun. Him and I are both having fun, right? But when I lost all focus and said, "Fucking, I'm not beating this guy," I wasn't going to beat him anyway. But any chance I had went out the window was when he started commentating mid-set. He's like, "Oh, you're him." Like I parried Link's up smash 2 or 3 times, and that impressed him. So he's like, "Oh, you're him. You're Himmy Neutron." I'm sure it's a line he uses a lot, but that was the first time I've been called something like that. So I started laughing, and he proceeds to beat my ass. That said, maybe laughter is a better way to get into your opponent's head and force them off their game. Instead of icing, maybe you tell a few jokes while you're doing your zero to death. I can't really tell. Either way, I really appreciate that Arbiter made time for me to play games. It's a blast. I actually look forward to playing that guy again if I ever see him in another Smash event. But yeah, shout out to Arbiter. I mean, he brings real good energy into commentary, but outside of that, he's a good person. So that was day one, right? Day one, I go back home and I am just in love with every part of the event. So I turn on the stream and I basically watch the stream until I fall asleep. But there's one commentator that also captivated me aside with Arbiter, and that's Chopabelli. That dude has a voice like butter and also just has a heart of gold. So when I came back to day 2, I searched for him and let him know that he was doing God's work as far as being like the focal point and doing commentary. And I just let him know that I really appreciate what he did. And I could see he was, maybe I misinterpreted it, but I think he was holding back tears because he was like, "That was very nice. Thank you." And that was a very genuine thank you. Right. And, I'm glad I was able to, get that point through to him, but it also makes you wonder, like, how much are these guys appreciated? I don't know. These guys need more love than what they're getting. Like, from my perspective, and maybe I'm just over glorifying things. I don't know. I feel like that they should be so used to compliments. It would be like, think of a pretty girl who's everyone lines up like, oh, will you go on a date with me? Like, oh no, I've already been asked, 50 times, like they should be used to compliments, and it kind of throws me off that, well, I don't know, maybe it's just a heartfelt one. I don't know. Either way, that threw me off. I feel like they should be showered with more love when possible. So if you end up going to a big event and you see your local commentator that you just absolutely adore, just throw a compliment their way. Just a year too late PSA. All right. So I guess it wouldn't really be much of a podcast. We didn't have a little bit of trivia for you guys. I know I don't have a co-host here, but I could still quiz the audience. So let's get started. In Smash Bros. 64, who is the only character without a sex kick as their nair? All right, you think you got it? It's Donkey Kong. Everyone else sticks their foot out like there's no tomorrow. All right, the next one here, and the last one, because we still have trivia on Tifa's interview, is in United States copies of Melee, which trophies are unobtainable without hacking? And I'll amend that. There are 3 total. All right, you think you got it? We have the Tomagon trophy, Mario and Yoshi trophy, and the Unmasked Samus trophy. They're completely translated. I think the only reason Tomagon wasn't in the United States version was because the game it came from is called Devil World. And, soccer moms just, don't want devils, and we just can't have that. And with that, I've taken up enough of your time. Let's move on to my post DDXS interview with Tifa. So some of you may be wondering, hey, this is a short podcast. What's going on here? The truth is, we did interview Tifa, and we had 90 minutes worth of interview. And believe me, we did. It's mostly that we had the idea to do a group drawing because Tifa is an artist, but none of that really translates well into an audio podcast and doesn't account for the various cuts and post editing that happens there. That's the result of the thumbnail there. So in terms of actual talking and stuff, that's most of our talking points are condensed there. So yeah, we goofed around a little bit, but it was all in good fun. We still had a great time. Welcome to the Lilac Smash podcast. I'm your host, You're Too Late. And with me today, I brought Jack, the Boost, Goody.
Hello.
Our honored guest today is none other than Tifa. Is that what your screen name is?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. The impression I get from that is like a mixture of Final Fantasy VII and Full Metal Alchemist. Am I on the dot there, or is there another reason?
Yep, right on the dot.
We have quite a lot to talk about. I'm going to start out with our new section here, fan mail. Going to scroll through some of our comments on the last one. We have Saint981 who says, "Good pod." I'll take that.
What a great comment.
Yeah, it's there. It happened.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Deldrin who says, "Twitchy is a liar. He will lie to you in bracket."
Oh.
He said this a lot in Daddy's Den, so I'm not really sure what that meant. I forgot to get context on that. And then we have Neutral Air 5529, who is not Sentiment, definitely not Sentiment, who says, "Twitchy Terry Sonic main."
Ooh.
So yeah, definitely some top tier comments. Oh, we also have Breaver here saying, "Sorry, I drove us off the rails last time." Like, we don't script this in any way, shape, or form. It just kind of happens. So appreciate the comments, guys. So we're going to go from in-house comments to the YouTube comments of the week. So I actually looked up Amsa stuff after I met the guy.
Okay.
And I found this video called the Red Essence Yoshi Tech Skill video. And I decided to scroll down the comments, and one helpful user said that if you ever need help affording a trip either to an Evo, Apex, MLG, contact Frog, D1 Star, or another major figure in the Smash community, a fairly sure community would jump at the chance to do a donation drive if necessary. Your Yoshi is one of the best things that ever happened to it. Good luck in the future. And that's fine. And then in the brackets is what kills me. Note, this donation drive would probably only be a one-time thing. I'm just thinking, like, if you're Amsa, like, you see this comment like, "Oh, I see someone in the comments is offering me a ride. I think I'm going to abuse it. Oh, nope, not. I should probably read the brackets there. It'd only be a one-time thing. Damn. It's such a wacky comment. It's like he went real deep, realized the implications, then just jumped right back out. It would have been so much easier to just delete the comment, I think. But
Actually, yeah, true.
that's just me though.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on from the YouTube comment of the week, we have recent events. And honestly, as far as I'm concerned, recent event, we have nothing better to talk about than Daddy's Den 10 Supreme, DDXS for the uninformed. Tifa, take it away. Well, how was your experience there?
It was actually very great. I didn't do too well. I didn't do too great in bracket, but it was definitely a fun experience and recommend it to anybody to definitely go.
Yeah. What did you like most about DDXS?
Mostly just like all the people that were there and vendors and just everybody hanging out. That's always a plus for me.
Yeah, absolutely. How would you compare this Daddy's Den to prior ones you've been to?
I would say this is probably one of the best ones.
Yeah, I can agree with that sentiment there.
Great.
So your first time going to your Daddy's Den, how in the world do you tell your parents, hey, I'm going to go to Daddy's Den. This is an event where I smash. Like, how do you do that?
Well, so I just went downstairs and I said, hey, Mom, going to a tournament. It's called Daddy's Den. She looks at me and she goes, that's a weird name. And I'm like, yeah, but you know how those people are. They just like to make jokes. He's like, yeah. And then I just went. So.
Wow. That was a lot simpler than I would have expected it to be. Incredible. That's probably a better answer than I was expecting. So
she already know because I have 4 brothers. So she already knows what the shenanigans they're up to with the weird names and stuff.
Gotcha. Did you buy anything while your Daddy's Den?
I didn't really buy anything technically. I did get my controller fixed. There was corrosion by the stick and I replaced the stick box. So shout out to that. He did a really good job and he cleaned it all up for me. And yeah.
That's great. But I just did the heavyweights bracket with plants. That was pretty cool. I went 2-2. I lost to a guy on Joy-Con's K roll. So, I mean, I'm not salty about that. He played really well. And I actually learned a lot from losing. And that's a good chunk of the experience there. How did you get into the Smash community? What inspired you to jump into the world of competitive video gaming?
Well, ever since I was very young, I've always wanted to be in competitive gaming. I grew up playing Smash Bros. With my siblings, and they always used to beat me. And I was like, I want to get better. I got better. I beat them every time, and then it got kind of boring. I went online, did some things, and wasn't half as fun. I looked online, and I saw the EWA Discord invite, went in there, and went to my first tournament. I think that was the one in Coeur d'Alene that shut down. Oh, Monopool. When I went there, I just loved how nice the people were and everything, and decided to keep going.
That's pretty crazy. Because when I was growing up gaming, the last thing I ever saw was a female. So it just kind of blows my mind.
Yeah.
Good job standing your ground. And you've actually made something of it. It looks to me like your Discord server, Tifa's Hangout, is the most active EWA-based server.
Yeah.
How did you get started doing a server? Like, what made you think, okay, I'm going to do my own server?
Well, when I was doing the online phase for my competitive gaming, I wanted a place for everybody to hang out and it wasn't toxic. And so I decided to make a server. And so I would just make arenas online and then they would join. Then over time, it just got bigger and bigger. And then EWA people started joining, other people started joining, and then it got huge. It definitely has, it's really active, and then it's not active, but it's a pretty good server for what it's worth. It's coming up on 3 years now, so.
I mean, you guys have daily good morning texts and good night texts with the gifts to go with it, so congrats on that. You do a really good job heading that community.
Thank you.
And it's interesting because I'm technically a community leader because I do the TO work alongside a little bit of the behind the scenes stuff. I don't do too much of Discord. What's it like having something this large under your belt, essentially? What goes into that?
It's definitely not easy. I'll tell you that much. Dealing with people, all the drama, all the editing, everything takes a lot of time, but it's definitely worth it. So you have to like make all the self roles, make sure everything's has all the permissions. And when new people join, that means probably more drama starts, you know. And then when it gets bigger, of course, not everybody's going to get along. So that definitely is a problem sometimes, but overall, it's pretty good.
I've got to say, you're probably one of the very few who has to babysit people who are close to twice your age at times.
True.
That's an interesting spot to be in. I mean, that's not something you ever asked for, but look at where you're at.
Yeah, I was doing that for, you know, when I was like 14. So definitely I'm used to it by now, but still hard for me to like get around it sometimes when random people join. I'm like, are you 5?
Yeah, definitely don't need a license to post, don't you? Did you meet anybody at Daddy's Den 10 Supreme that you wanted to give a shout out to, or did you have a cool experience with anybody?
Well, to be honest, I didn't really hang out with a lot of new people, just kind of the same old EWA people. But, you know, you got to shout out, you know, Swing, Griever, Tencent, Barnabas, Twitchy, all those Nari, great people there.
Well, I'm sure they'll appreciate it.
Barnabas is the GOAT, along with Twitchy.
I personally will vouch for Twitchy. When I was done with my bracket, I sat there and played friendlies with Twitchy for about an hour, and he basically taught me the Sonic matchup, and I showed him what I could do with Plant and Roy. So that guy is a GOAT tier GOAT, like the GOAT of GOATs, if you will.
Yes, sir.
Did you play in heavyweights bracket?
Yes, I did.
Who was your heavy?
Monkey.
Oh, you went Donkey Kong?
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was surprisingly, I just went to Daddy's Den and I decided day 1 Monkey going into bracket, and that's what I did.
Did you get day 1 Monkey results?
Actually, okay, so in friendlies, I was doing really good. Went into bracket, I played horrible, but I was not really upset. It was day 1 of playing Donkey Kong, and I did pretty good in friendlies. Surprisingly. So I'm happy with that. Yeah, majors are definitely a great experience. I went to CEO 1 year in Florida.
Wow.
So that was a very interesting experience. Very fun, and it was just great overall.
It was interesting because I ended up defaulting to going to friendlies with, you know, the people I knew, and like Twitchy and Griever and Swing. And I'm sitting there thinking, there's like 300 plus people around me who all share the same hobby. I mean, aside from like finding an open setup and be like, hey, do you want to play? It's kind of weird because we're still in the pool of strangers, despite us all being very passionate about this one niche thing. I find that paradoxical, and also just, what do you do about that? You know, it's not like you go and talk to every stranger just because, you know, they have a GameCube controller in their hands, but at the same time, we do have a giant shared interest. I don't really know where I'm going with this, but I thought it's really interesting that I'm standing united with a bunch of strangers who will never probably talk to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Was there anything you wanted to talk about while we're up here, Tifa?
Not really. I just really like Smash Bros. And just the community is great over here. Yeah. And if anybody's listening, you have to visit the eBoss scene if you haven't already.
A good suggestion.
Yes.
So what was your first Smash game then?
64.
Oh, it was? Yeah. That's great. Who'd you play in 64?
I played Link.
Oh, I'm sorry to see a trend here. Did you play, or who'd you play, Melee?
Young Link.
Oh, so in that case, then you were stuck on Toon Link when you got to Brawl, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Toon Link, and then Smash 4, was Toon Link still in there?
Yep.
So dedicated Link main, are you a Legend of Zelda fan then?
Yes, I am. I'm too obsessed with that series.
Really? Okay. I think that will bring us over to trivia pretty well because I have a few questions. I'm pretty sure you're going to ace these. So first question, what is the name of young Link's sword?
Kokiri sword.
Okay, that was too easy. I should have got someone who didn't know Legend of Zelda, because the follow-up to that is young Link is the only character who doesn't wield the Master Sword as far as the Links go. So that was
Yeah.
pretty neat. Next one, which weapons in young Link's arsenal does he not have access to in Ocarina of Time? Like, he uses the weapons in Smash, but he cannot use them in Ocarina of Time.
Well, technically it's the fire arrows. Young Link can't use them, but
Yeah.
adult Link can, so.
So that's one. There's one more, I think.
Oh, okay. I believe. Huh. He can use bombs. He can use. Wait. Boomerang, right?
Nope, it's actually the hook shot.
Oh, yeah, the hook shot.
Yep, he cannot use the hook shot as a kid. You know, this is a good one. When is the first time players could use Ganon's sword in a Smash game?
Ultimate? Right?
Nope, Smash 4, custom special, Warlock Blade. Because in Smash...
yeah.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
yeah, not too many people are going to know that one.
No, it was
I think
melee.
that-
He had a taunt with a sword.
Yeah, but that's as far as dealing damage.
He didn't say deal
mean-
damage. He said use it. Use it for a
Oh,
taunt.
Yeah,
my-
Jack's right.
That's a sword
No.
taunt.
Oh my goodness. What goes a sword if you can't hurt people with it?
Intimidation. You gotta scare them.
Exactly. That's what I was saying.
How scared can you be if you just put it away, though?
Look at this sword I don't need. And you get the hand.
Fully, like, half the swordies could just do that. Just put away their sword and actually fight.
Mhm.
All right.
Should we move on to 599ing a character?
Sure.
All right. What do you think would it take for young Link to be worth the 599 purchase into the roster? Are there items you wish you would use from the Ocarina of Time games or just any Legend of Zelda game?
I think it'd be cool if he had like the mirror shield
He can't use that, though.
but
Like,
I mean, like,
other stuff either.
yeah, like I think it'd be really cool if they added that and it could reflect.
Okay. I was thinking Ocarina of Time's Hylian shield, where
Mhm.
he sort of ducks to shield. So if he crouches, then he can't be damaged from the top.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking
And trying
the ocarina in general gets no love in any versions of Link. They need to give him
Oh.
like a Jigglypuff sing with the ocarina.
That would be cool. Or
Yeah.
like his final smash could be an ocarina.
Yeah. Something.
his down taunt could be him pulling out the ocarina, then you could push buttons to play
Yeah.
songs. And
There
then you
you
have to push
go.
down taunt again to get out
That's
of
a
it.
good idea.
The musical taunt. That's awesome.
Yeah, and you stay in the taunt for as long as you're playing music. There would be so many crazy pop-offs. Like you could like someone playing The Simpsons after they zero to death you and then all of a sudden continue to kick your ass. Like how infuriating would that be?
That's right.
It's
That's
very
fun.
infuriating.
But I don't think
But-
a taunt's for $5.99. It's not
Mhm.
yet anyway.
But right now, I think Young Link is a great character. To me, I feel like the only thing that he's bad at is killing, and that is not how everybody feels about it. But his recovery is not that. His recovery is absolutely insane if you know how to do it.
Yeah. Between the bombs and the up B and yeah.
In the boomerang and the hook shot, everything, you can literally get away with so much. But if I had to pick something else besides the not getting the kills, it'd probably be his get up options. He doesn't have
Okay.
a ton, but he still has quite a bit.
Yeah. I was thinking somewhere around the Hyrule Warriors route where he just pulls out the fierce deity mask and just has an alter ego that has his exact same movement, but is
Yeah.
infinitely stronger for a short period of time based on how much mana he has.
That'd be
I
pretty
think that-
cool.
It'd be like a pseudo Pyra Mithra, except you have Mithra and weaker Mithra up until they charge up enough mana. But
Or like Persona, like Joker.
yeah, there we go. That'd be cool. His side taunt, instead of him drinking the long milk, it could be him drinking a green potion just to get fully restored mana, and then putting on the fierce deity mask and just destroying things.
Yeah.
So you
There's
have to
only-
taunt to win.
There's only one character with an install, and that's Joker. It's kind of a lacking mechanic in Smash Bros. It'd be nice to see other characters that actually have a transformation that lasts for a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Give Link give him a Wario Man for 10 seconds.
It'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it'd be kind of cool if another idea is like the taunt buttons, if they were like Majora's Mask, so Goron Link, Sora Link.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, definitely get Majora's Mask in there.
Yeah.
Down B and have them transform into different characters, essentially.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty hard to balance because you got Link, you got Goron, you got Zora, and then Deku, I think. Am I right there? Yeah, that'd be a character to program in Nightmare to balance too. They'd probably just be their own separate characters at that point.
Even if it didn't do anything, I think it'd be cool if they just added it as a taunt. Like not even doing anything.
Yeah.
Like
I would like it if they did almost nothing, but just enough to be annoying. Like the Zora mask made him run faster over water, so he's better on Fountain of Dreams or something. Just completely,
cool.
Something like that. That'd be cool.
negligible, but somebody pouring over the data is like, wait a minute, Link is 2% faster with this mask on, but only standing on water.
Yeah, or like the hover boots.
Oh yeah.
Like,
can he even change boots though?
I mean,
is it
like
just
you could
adult
always have like a move to use them, or like a jump.
Yeah,
I
pseudo
think that'd be
Peach.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
At this point, Link needs the hero menu. Just a full drop down to select this stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, people are like reevaluating. Hey, is that pausing? No, it's just him doing a special, bro. Just let him equip stuff.
Yeah.
Link can pause and equip gear during match, and it's not disqualification.
Just sitting here, do.
He saves the game, and if he loses the trade and dies, he reloads the save before he died and fights you again. There you go.
I mean, if they could figure out how to do that and balance it, sure. I mean, Smash is wacky enough as it is.
I don't like how you killed me there. I'm gonna reload that save file.
Yeah, I don't like how Zero to Death wasn't a complete JV4, so I'm just gonna redo it.
Right.
That covers basically all of our sections. Tifa, thank you for making time for us today.
No problem.
Yeah, was there anything you wanted to throw in last second?
It was pretty good. I enjoyed it.